and then ask you to give us an update. I think people want some reassurance that it's not as bad as public perception.
Yeah, of course.
And then I'll tell you what then, Mel, I will let, if I have to dash to chamber, I'll let Caroline take over, if that's okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense, yeah.
So I think people want some reassurance that it's not as bad as the public perception.
Yeah,
Oh, we're on live. So I think we're live now. Sam, let's try and show it. I'll tell you what then, Mel, I will let, if I have to dash to chamber, I'll let Caroline take over, if that's okay.
Yeah, that makes more sense, yeah.
So we've got we're on Facebook Live now, so let's kick off. Sam, if there's anybody in the waiting room, please put them in the room.
Yeah.
We're on. I'm trying to get Facebook up. Let's have a look. And basically, so what I'm going to do. 88 people watching, 89. So that's pretty good so far. So listen, thank you everybody in Ashfield and Eastwood, or wherever you are watching tonight. Dale Turner, Matthew Guy, James Parker, Stephen Wells. There's lots of dog people on here tonight, and I know from my inbox that this is a massive issue, and people really, really concerned about, you know, the perception of dog thefts. I know my missus herself is actually scared to take our dog out, so she's always looking over her shoulder. So it's a very important issue. So what I decided to do is get the experts here tonight. We've got Caroline Henry, who's the Police and Crime Commissioner, and we have Mark Dixon, Inspector Mark Dixon, our very own RoboCop in Ashfield, a no-nonsense officer who's going to give us an update on what's been happening in Ashfield and try and put our minds at rest. So we're in good company tonight. We've also got Mel, my office manager, and we've got Sam, my apprentice. Janice, hello, Janice. So Mark's going to speak. But if you've got any questions and you want to raise any issues below, just put a comment in the comment box. Ask a question, sensible questions, please. And if you can, I'll either pick them up, or Caroline or Sam. I'm going to try and stop as long as possible, but I have supposed to be going into the chamber to speak on a debate. So I will stay as long as I can, but if I have to dash off, and then Caroline will obviously take over the meeting, and any questions we can't answer, Sam will take your details and we'll email you some answers. We'll do a bit of research for you. I can see the lovely Janet Jago Lee on there tonight. Nice wave, Janet. It's Janet from Uthwaite, and she runs like her own little personal dog rescue and pet rescue. So she's the go-to person in Uthwaite. So Mark, I'm not going to rabbit on all night. Can you give us an update, please, on dog theft and pet theft in our neck of the woods? Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for putting this together. I know this is a really big issue nationally, and quite rightly, there's concerns locally. The good thing I can start with is we really don't have that much of an issue in Nottinghamshire, and even less so in Ashfield. Give you a little bit of a flavour around that then. Since 2018, January 2018, in Ashfield, we've had 6 dog thefts up till today. Them 6 dog thefts are all linked to domestic incidents, basically. So husbands and wife, partners of whatever kind, splitting up and then having a falling out over the dog, and then one stealing the dog from the other. So hopefully the stuff we're seeing nationally hasn't been replicated either in Ashfield or across the force as a whole. That doesn't mean that we should be complacent, and to make sure we're not complacent, we have the first and, to my knowledge, only dog strategic lead within the police. So unfortunately, Chief Inspector Amy Stiles-Jones couldn't make it tonight, but Amy is the Chief Inspector in Nottinghamshire Police. She's a seasoned detective, and she's heading up our response to this issue. Now, as I said, there's no reason for the public to be alarmed. It's not really affecting Notts, but we're being on the front foot around this to make sure it doesn't become an issue. To give you a bit of an idea of the feel for it around Notts, since 2018, again, January 2018, there was 313 dog thefts throughout the whole of Nottinghamshire. Works out about 45 a year. And again, most of them are linked to domestic incidents where partners are split up and the dog has been stolen as part of that. Some of it also links to drugs. As you can imagine, some drug dealers have got very expensive dogs, and again, quite often they'll be still to take that sort of type of payment back. So overall, there's nothing for everyone to worry about nationally, locally, sorry. Amy's running a fantastic scheme at the moment. So every day she reviews all the intelligence picture across Nottinghamshire and regionally to make sure that there's nothing coming our way. And she's assisted in this role by 12 officers. Now, they're not a strategic task force. They're not just sat around doing that all day. They are actually embedded within the team. So Lorna Sidebottom, one of our MPT officers over at Ashfield, she's our link. So you've got a local cop in Ashfield directly looking at this as well. So every day we'll receive all the information. We look at suspicious incidents. We look at vans looking at people's addresses, any intelligence we've got developing around sort of thefts, dog thefts and burglaries, and see if there's a pattern. If there is a pattern, obviously we'll put something in place to try and stop that. Again, thankfully, we haven't seen that. This proactive approach has been seen force-wide, and I think other people are starting to copy and take on board some of the good practices we've got and we've embedded. I think, touch wood, we won't see an increase in this. We are very much on top of it. We are on the front foot. We're working with other forces and partner agencies to make sure that stays the same. There's nothing to suggest that we're going to be targeted by travelling criminals or organised criminals looking to steal dogs. But still, don't be complacent. Keep up with the day-to-day security, and we'll make sure that we don't end up in them horrible circumstances that some of the other forces are in.
Okay, could I ask a quick question, Mark?
Of course.
So we get a lot of residents saying there's been a marking on the lamppost outside their house or something on the gate. Is this the kind of thing people should be looking for?
Unfortunately, it's a bit of an urban myth. It comes from America. So in the States, back in the 60s and 70s, homeless people, hobos who ride the trains and things like that in America used to make marks, or there was a little bit of pop culture around making marks outside gates and stuff. There's absolutely no evidence to suggest that that same thing is happening in the UK around dog thefts. It's more likely than not just coincidence. If you think about it logically, if I spot that you've got a dog that I want to steal from your home address and I'm going to come back and steal at another time, I'd just take on the details of your address. I wouldn't put a marking around a lamppost or something like that. The marking will be removed. It may be ambiguous. So unfortunately, I think people have got a bit onto pop culture. Social media's blown this out of proportion, and people naturally get concerned by it. Please don't be concerned by it. It likely is just a coincidence that something is there.
I'll just come in on that one, Mark, because so people were saying to me there's tie wraps on the lampposts. Well, I put them tie wraps up when I hung the poppies up last year on the same lamppost. So I sort of get what you're saying there, but that makes complete sense. Caroline, somebody's asked, what are you going to do to make dog walkers feel safer taking their dogs out?
Who is it asked the question? Is it somebody here?
Charlie, we call Charlie.
Thank you very much for that question, Charlie. We do need to feel really safe on our streets. I've got my own little dog, Poppy. She almost got into shot tonight, but she's looking very scruffy because she's not had a trim for ages. I walk the same streets as you. I'm from Nottinghamshire. I'm actually from just outside Ashfield. I'm from Eastwood and I live in Giltbrook. And there are places where I don't feel safe when I walk alone at night. So we do need to make sure that we have more police on our streets and that we feel safer. And I will be having some very robust conversations with our Chief Constable coming up with a plan. I don't actually start my job until Thursday. So give me a chance and I will be getting back to you.
And I know I've got Janet from Huthwaite on the line, waiting very patiently. Janet, have you got a question for us, Janet?
Yes, I have. I just need to contradict you, sir, that there is every reason to be alarmed. Don't go walking your dog at the same time every day if you can help it. Don't go alone. Don't walk in the dark at night by yourself. What you're saying makes me feel like, oh, well, that's okay, then there's nothing to worry about. There's everything to worry about. You've really, really got to be consistent in the way you lead your life. When you take a dog on now, you've got to look after it and be aware that other people might want that dog, just like your car, just like your house. You've got to up your security. Do you see what I mean?
Mark, do you want to come on back on that one, please?
Yeah, I can get you thinking there, Janet. It's a good point. In fairness, your personal security and safety should always be at the forefront of your mind. Be reassured, though, we have had no dogs snatched from owners walking. We've had no dogs stolen in opportune moments like that. However, quite rightly, your personal protection and safety should always be at the forefront of your mind while you're out walking. In Ashfield, as Leo will know, and many of the locals, we do have very regular patrols out and about, especially in those big areas where dog walking's very prevalent, certainly like local parks and places like that. Not so much around the dog theft reasons, but because they usually draw other types of criminality. And of course, we're always looking to tackle all types of criminality in and around Ashfield.
Thanks, Mark. So, I mean, I've got a bit of an update from down here in Westminster. So we've got this. We had a press release last week, I think it was, about a task force which is being launched to investigate reported rise in pet thefts. Now, this task force will investigate and draw action to tackle these crimes. So they are taking it seriously. I raised this in the House about a month ago. There's three of us in business questions. All three of us, we had a bit of a plan. We decided all three of us basically to ask the same question. Now, if you do that, if the three of you ask the same question, then you're more likely to get something done, because it sort of gives them a bit of a kick. And we got loads of coverage on it, loads of social media shares, and it really hit home. But I understand what Mark says about the thefts aren't as bad as we think they are in Ashfield, but that's no reason to become complacent, because we know for a fact that the value of dogs has shot up over the last year since lockdown, and especially puppies. I mean, the increase in Google, we can get this information from Google and the Dogs Trust. The searches for puppies has gone through the roof. My own dog, Puffy, he's a Westie. Now, we're looking at Westie dogs last year, pups, maybe trying to get another one, and they're about £500 or £600. Now the same dogs are £2,500. So you can see there is a lot of money in it. We also saw that a few weeks back there was, I think it was a travellers camp in Ipswich, where 80 odd dogs were found on there, and sadly, not all of them dogs yet have rehomed with their owners. So I mean, some of them have, but dog theft, it's very emotive. It's a terrible thing. My dog, I don't know what we'd do if he was stolen, and we're pushing. I want to see in down here where I work, I want to see a change in the law where if you steal a pet, that's a mandatory jail sentence. No messing. This is, for me, for some people, it's like stealing a member of your family. And, unless you've been a pet owner, a dog or a cat or whatever sort of pet you've got, and you've got that bond, that connection, they are part of your life and they bring a lot of happiness. And we should do all we possibly can, and I should, as your MP, to fight for our pet owners. Any questions? Oh, what we got here? This some I can't ask. Somebody's got to go. Somebody's saying here that the flooring fitter who came to my home last month, I hope he did a good job, stated that his friend had chased someone off their garden locally who was trying to entice their small dog with treats, and it was worth over £1,000. Can you just tell me? I know I'm not saying it's exaggerated about the amount of dog thefts, but I think there has been a bit of social media stuff that's, and social media does that sometimes. It is a force for good, social media and spreading the word and doing things like we're doing tonight, raising awareness. This is all good stuff. But top tips from the inspector, what would you say, Mark?
So the first one is, if we have an incident like that where this dog may have been attempted to be lured from the property, let us know about that immediately. Give us a call on 999, any suspicious activity like that, and we can get straight out to it. that is exactly the type of thing we need to know around, because that would give us that intelligence picture. It allows us to try and identify people who could be involved in these areas, and more importantly, allows us to make some arrests and prevent any dogs being stolen. The more information we can get around things like this, the more we can put together a bigger understanding and picture around any particular some top tips I would give: if you have a dog, then please just be mindful of it while you're out and about. The sort of data around it says that most dogs will be stolen from the garden. So just be aware when the dog's in the garden. What does your garden look like? What's your fencing like? Is it easy accessible? Can people see into your garden? All the really, really basic security considerations that you would put in. Again, consider if you want to CCTV, things like that, which could aid it. For me, I think the biggest one, and this tonight is probably a really good indication of the breadth of feeling around this, is look after each other. Look after your neighbours, look after the community, be aware of suspicious activity. You know who lives on your street, you know who comes onto that street regularly. If somebody who comes onto that street who doesn't belong there or normally will hang around there, let us know. We can come down, we can easily rule people out of any inquiries. It really isn't an issue for us to travel out and check out on any suspicious circumstances, but we need to be aware of it. We need the public to help us. If public places, again, it's just unusual rules around personal security. If you can vary your route, brilliant, absolutely fantastic. It's a really good message to everybody. Go to different parks, different areas. Keep your dog close by, keep an eye on your dog, and just be aware of people trying to interact with it.
So Darren McCrum has asked, what is the penalty for dog theft at the moment? It's not a specific crime, but I think it comes under cruelty, and that carries a jail sentence up to 7 years, I think it is. But you know, actually, I don't think anybody gets that time for it. This is why we're campaigning down here for a mandatory jail sentence, and I think there might be an amendment in the police crime and sentencing bill on this.
Can I just take that a little bit further for you, Lee? So, yeah. I don't wish to upset anybody here on this, but this is the law for you. So the law describes a dog as property. Yeah. So if somebody steals your dog, it is their property. It's an act of theft, and theft has got a 10-year jail term to it. So we have got a really good power behind the back of it. One of the things we would be doing in Notts, should anyone fall foul of this, we would be giving out what we call a victim personal statement, a VPS, where you can really show what that impact is for the loss of your pet and your loved animals. So we would look to use that, and the courts use that as part of their sentencing to get increased sentences.
Okay, so Dale's asking, Mark, how many attempted thefts in Nottinghamshire have been reported in the past 12 months? And is that an increase on the previous 12 months? I
don't have them figures to hand. It's very hard to say what an attempt theft would be, or whether or not it's related specifically to dogs. Overall, the crime statistics show that theft is dropping, as is burglary and robbery and all other acquisition crime. But I'd expect it to go lower. Given that over the last 3 years, 2019 had the most actual thefts compared to 2020-21, I'd suggest that the trend is dropping. But again, we need people to report in specifically if a dog has been attempted to be stolen, so I will give that type of data out.
Okay, I think Janet's got another question. Janet, do you want to ask another question, darling?
There's other things that you could do. If you're walking along and someone's coming towards you quite rapidly, quickly, and you really don't know them, you know, that gives you just enough time to get your personal alarm ready and make a right old racket. The other thing is, don't let anybody take a photo of you with your dog. You know, that's a really easy thing to. It's no. Or I've seen people do that with, you know, like kids walking their dogs, and it's like, no, don't do that at all. We need more neutering, yes, more pushing for campaigning to have your dogs chipped. It's really important, you know, people who leave their dogs outside shops.
Yeah.
That's my biggest. Okay, your dog's not chipped. It's tiny. You know, these people aren't nice. They come up with their, you know, and they've got weapons as well. Your dog's halfway down the M1 with some really awful people, and you're not going to see that dog again. So do something about it first. What we need to do is put over a message. Now, look, you dog thieves, you're not watching us. We are watching you.
Excellent point, Janet. That's very well, and you know, you can tell that Janet's really passionate about animals, and we're very lucky to have her. So I guess, Caroline, that you know, when you're actually in post,
which I can't wait. I can't
you
wait.
can't, I know you've got. I know you're chomping at the bit.
Get my knees under the table.
I am going to invite you now in front of the World Wide Web to come to part of Ashfield. It could be with Janet or anybody to come on a dog walk. With local residents. We'll go on a dog walk. I'll bring my dog and we'll go for a nice walk around Brierley or Sutton or around Eastwood or Kirkby or wherever. And let's have this conversation with some real dog owners.
Absolutely.
And you know, we can do some publicity out of it as well. And hammer that message home. So I think that is actually a good starting place, because obviously when restrictions are lifted and we've got a bit more freedom, you know, being visible as a new police and crime commissioner, obviously Mark Dixon, he will want to come along as well. He'll be chomping at the bit. I know he will. And let's have a.
What I want to do, I want to be there listening. You know, if there is an area that you don't feel safe in, you know, can we speak with the council? Can there be some CCTV? Can we have better street lights? There's lots of joined up things we can do. It is, you know, the police as well, but I'm really keen as police and crime commissioner to take the lead on bringing things together.
Maybe, I mean, Darren makes another good call, and I think Janet made a good point about tying your dog up outside the shop. That's just like, we need to get some education out there for. Maybe shopkeepers as well. Let's go and see these shops. The council, there's some signage. That's, you know, be careful. I mean, we don't terrify people to death, but we need to educate them.
Yeah, and if you've got a well-behaved little dog, you know, why can't you take your dog into the shop with you? You know, we want to go shopping locally, and a lot of shops will let us do that now. On my little dog, she's been chipped and spayed, and actually on her collar it says she's been chipped and spayed. Because I am completely biased, but I do have the prettiest dog in the world called Poppy. It was completely part of my family, and if anything happened to her, and I'd be absolutely devastated. I know. I don't leave her outside the shop. I don't leave her in my car. I keep my eye on her at all times because she's part of our family. Okay. You know, and I know how much that matters. Yeah.
So I guess when you start, Caroline, on Thursday, I'm going to be badgering you to spend all your time in Ashfield, because
it's the country of my heart. It's where I grew up. You know
I'm going to be badgering you to spend as much time there as possible. I mean, Martin's just said well-behaved dogs are allowed in my shop. I mean, that's responsible, I think, Martin, in Sutton, and it should be. You know, pets are part of your family. I mean, a lot of people's got care dogs, you know, guide dogs, and just companions, really. And I know Janet does a lot of work locally with rescue dogs and rescue cats. So
not so much now, Lee. I'm still involved, but I've had to because of the COVID, you know, I've had to diversify my work to bring more income in. So I do what I can, but I'm not able to do what I did.
But I mean, you've been a champion for pet welfare over the years, Janet. I know you have.
Thank you.
No, you have. You know, anybody in the village who's found an injured sparrow, it's straight to Janet and Jeff. So that's what we do. So no, thanks for all the hard work you've done, and Jeff, and give my love to him. So Caroline, when you start Thursday, please tell me. You know, it's not just about dogs. What are your priorities going to be?
I'm really clear. I want to level up policing across the county. Some of our towns and villages need the same resources as we're getting in the city. So very, very clear, and we know that we need really proactive policing across the whole of Nottinghamshire. And I really want to support our amazing, hardworking, brave police officers. It's been a tough year, and they've worked their socks off. So I want to make sure they've got the resources they need, and manage the budget really effectively.
Yeah, I mean, I will call you out here, Caroline. I think that my area, Ashfield, has been left behind with resources. We've had the Operation Rita team in under the leadership of Mark, and actually, they're kicking doors in. They're doing a right good job, and but it's never ending for them. I mean, they're locking them up and arresting them, but you know, it's like painting the Humber Bridge. They're going around in circles.
Well, I walk around Sutton with you, Lee. You know, and I'll be there again. And we actually got Priti Patel to come. To the Ashfield.
I know.
So we're completely on the radar. And I will be shouting, you know, I'm from Nottinghamshire. It really matters to me that we are safe in Nottinghamshire, on the whole of Nottinghamshire. And that's my job to do that.
So, Mark, can you tell me about some recent successes you've had? We're not talking about dogs now, but recent successes on drug busts, any major stuff going off, statistics, how you're beating crime in Ashfield?
Well, we've, as you're aware, Lee, we never stop. And I think the metaphor you use is absolutely apt. It is like painting the Humber Bridge, which, by the way, does lead to the greatest city in the world in Kingston upon Hull.
No, it's not.
Oh, no.
It's not.
We can argue that one later.
Yeah, I'm a Hull lad. I've been adopted into Nottinghamshire, and I love it, in fairness. But yeah, in terms of crime, obviously, we've got a lot going on. We've run an operation quite recently called Op Sweep Spire. That was a 2 weeks worth of action, and on the back of that, we made over 25 arrests. We carried out 8 warrants, seized numerous vehicles, numerous amounts of drugs, lots of weapons, and so on and so forth. Last week we had Op Sector, which was the National Knife Crime week. We did a lot of work around that. We had enhanced patrols going out. We had vehicle-borne operations in the area. We went to a lot of schools and we did a lot of really good interactions with school children aged between 9 and 12 around knife crime and the risks around knife crime. Today, the team have been out doing more work in and about the community, both proactive and reactive. We've had up Mascarpone running, which is around town centre policing. So as the economy's reopened, we put more resources out towards tackling ASB and retail crime in them areas. That's led to a really good shopping experience amongst Sutton, Kirkby and Hucknall areas. And again, we've had some really good results around that. Thankfully, as well, we've managed to keep the thieves away out of the town centres. It means it's a better shopping area for the public who want to go out there and do the right thing. The restrictions, obviously, on COVID being lifted is fantastic. It's got people regenerated, people out and about, and enjoying both the restaurants and pub meals and all that. And I'd just like to say, actually, the people of Ashfield have been fantastic around this. We've not had a surge of public order incidents, the stupidity you often see around the drinking culture. Everybody's been really, really on board with the COVID restrictions, being COVID compliant and actually using things correctly and making best use of these resources that are opening up. So absolutely, hats off to Ashfield. Around there.
So, Mark, I've got Rachel here from Hollow Woods. She's saying, please stop motocross bikes in Hollow Woods. They spooked a horse this week, and the rider ended up with broken arms. We walk in the woods with our kids and animals. This is dangerous. Fair comment. Yeah,
very much so. We're aware of Hollow Wood. We're aware of what was happening there at the weekend. We had the off-road bikes ourselves out on Sunday. They were doing an operation in Ashfield. Last week, they're out on the Saturday doing it, and we've got further operations planned. Tomorrow, myself and Colin Morley, the Sergeant over at Hucknall, and Luke Betteridge, the MPT officer at Kirkby, we're sitting down and we're putting together a operation specifically and bespoke for Ashfield around how we're going to tackle off-road bike. Can't go too much into details of the ins and outs of it, but we're going to be using techniques similar to what we would use to target organised criminals and organised crime groups. We're just going to map that across to the off-road bike use, because for me it's really prevalent. It's a big risk to the society and to the public, and it's getting some serious attention. The good thing is Colin Morley runs the off-road bike team, so we do get a lot of access to the off-road bike team.
I think Janet wants another question. Janet?
Yeah, I was just 2 things that popped into my mind. Going back to the dog theft again, can we also instill into, and yourselves as well, that the RSPCA are no longer your go-to organisation for help. There's not enough resources, and all the rescue centres and charities, they've got no money, they've got no people. So be patient with them. They're doing their best, but they haven't got enough people. But the other thing, we get a lot of nasty fly tipping around here. And I was wondering, Liam mentioned once this, and I always hoped that it would happen, is that you put some temporary cameras up at regular fly tipping sites to catch them. Go on, would that cost a lot?
Mark, do you want to pick that up?
Yeah, I'll open that up. So with fly tipping, we're working really closely with Ashfield District Council. They've got various bits and pieces they can use to deploy for that. In terms of cost, it's not a massive cost. There's a lot of legislation around putting out cameras and things like that. It's all managed under really specific guidance, so there's a lot of work we need to do around that. But yeah, there is work going in the background, as you can imagine. A lot of what we're doing around that, we can't really discuss in an open forum. But it is on the agenda and we are tackling it.
Okay.
It's on it's on my agenda of things to get sorted too. I've got a real hate of litter and fly tipping and how much money it costs, to remove and what a mess it leaves.
Yeah, we're paying for this.
Side.
Yeah.
And I do think people need to take responsibility that if you see somebody putting a post up on social media, can you get rid of a mattress for me for 10 quid, and they offer to do it, somebody needs to shout out that is not the way to do it. Make sure it goes to a proper waste place. And I know fly tipping has become more of an issue during times when we had a lockdown and it was more difficult to get to the tips, but there's no excuse for it. And absolutely, we do need a strategy. I'm pleased. I don't know exactly what the strategy is at the moment. I want to find out what it is. And if we need to do more, what I'd like to do is actually have a joined up fly tipping strategy where we pull in the Environment Agency, we pull in the council, but that might all be in place. I don't know until I get my knees under the table, but it really annoys me. It costs our farmers thousands, tens of thousands of pounds, and
Caroline, I've got to go now, so can you take the meeting over for me, please?
Absolutely, you go and vote.
Thank you.
Yeah, it costs, and actually I was at a meeting with the NFU just 2 weeks ago, and it affects their insurance. It's massive. It's a real issue. It really needs sorting.
I bet. Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
I've got to go back to work now.
What okay, thank you very much for all your questions and input. You made some really good points. Just to recap, you talked about being making sure you keep your eye on your dog, making sure it's secure in the garden. Don't leave your dog outside a shop, don't leave your dog outside a car. Report any incidents. It's really vital that the police have the intelligence. Be wary of strangers. They might just be thinking you've got a really cute dog, but
you treat your dog.
Do be wary.
It's very important you do your car, your job, your house, your children. And that way we'll beat it.
It was next to children with me, because that's how I feel about my dog. She is completely part of our family. Collars, tags, microchips. We understand how important dogs are, and which is why the Nottinghamshire Police Force are taking this really seriously. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. I only figured out how to do this tonight, so bear with me if I don't go right away.
That's okay. Thank you. Are there any more questions? Something in the chat. Let me have a quick look. So somebody saying here they've got a dog tracker. Any thoughts on dog trackers, Mark?
Really bit of kit. They're usually reasonably cheap. Definitely worth an investment with. I've had some great results, certainly when I was on CID, tracking dogs through chips. There were those particular dogs willing to a drugs vet, and we were able to literally pick the dog up from somebody's house and do some work around it. Another big one is getting your dog microchips and ensuring your microchips up to date. A lot of people will get the microchip, move house, and then forget to update it. Please make sure you keep it updated. Vets, certainly all reputable vets, and in fact most vets across the country, will always check the microchip when they examine a dog. Certainly if it's a young dog and it's been brought in, when they check the chip, if it comes back as stolen, so some of the companies, certainly the bigger companies, will allow you to mark your dog up as stolen on the microchip register. They will then automatically inform the police. So as you can imagine, a massive aid for us. So yeah, all in favour for trackers, but definitely microchip and keeping your details up to date is always a really good starting point.
Okay, thank you so much, Mark. Any more questions, Melanie?
No, but can I suggest that if anyone has a question, they just send Lee an email and we can get an answer to them straight away. So after this has ended, if it comes to you in the middle of the night, just drop us an email and we'll get you those answers.
And you've probably got the idea already. I'm sure that Lee is going to have me on speed dial. We know
He will be phoning you in the night with a question.
and I will absolutely be listening. You know, it's really important to me that, you know, I am here to serve you. I've been elected to be your representative with the police, to hold the police to account and to make sure your priorities are delivered. And that is absolutely what I'm going to do. Whether you voted for me or not, I'm here for the whole of Nottingham and Nottinghamshire. So thank you very much for joining us this evening, and I'll let you enjoy the rest of your night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.